Welcome to the Krueger Show, everybody. Hit the band. Giants win again. Woo! What a game that was, huh? Giants are just finding ways to win. The Padres are finding ways to lose. Welcome to the Krueger Show, brought to you by Pig in a Pickle. Best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check out Pig in a Pickle. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in Marin County. Check them out. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in Northern California. Get the brisket. All right, we're starting tonight's show here on the Krug Show here on YouTube, and then we're going to move it in about an hour over to Danny's channel, NorCal Sports Network. Good to see everybody. Dan, what can you say? I mean, the Giants, this one was so interesting from the standpoint of VR strikes out, leaves it to Peterson in the ninth, and Peterson, swung it at ball 3.
Right.
So really Hader was struggling with his command. And then I was sitting there watching it with my oldest son, and I said, you know what? Hader's got a nasty slider, but he can't throw it here because he doesn't really throw it for strikes more than one of every 4 or 5 times.
Right.
So he was sitting fastball. And, it's amazing. It's like he's making just an absolute split-second decision because you're really this guy throws high 90s. You're really just judging it out of the hand of the pitcher. Do you think it's going to be a strike or not? He took it. It was ball 4. He walks in the winning run, and the Giants win 4-3, and they've won 9 in a row. Incredible performance. DeSclafani went 5, gave up 8 hits, 3 earned runs, but it was Tristan Beck who really was the hero of this game. 3 innings, 1 hit, only one walk. Tyler Rogers came in, threw a shutout top of the 9th inning, and the Giants win again. And they tomorrow, I would say they're going for the sweep, but it's a 4-gamer. So the Giants win game 1, 7-4. They win game 2 tonight, 4-3. And they're back at it tomorrow. Just another, it seems like the Giants are just inventing ways to win. It's great to watch.
Yeah, the young guys did it tonight. Look at that that 9th inning rally. Matos gets a walk. Then Casey Schmidt gets a walk. And
VR strikes out, and
Mato scores the winning run. Yeah, VR. I mean, I don't know. He's here because they're just injured. They just got guys injured. But I mean,
he did have a double in this game earlier.
Yeah, that was a good hustle and everything. Got dove into second, but him chasing those pitches in the dirt against. He just went up there like no plate discipline at all. Just like the moment just seemed too big. I mean, you look at the difference between a 21-year-old Matos up there. I mean, he's not facing Hader. I get it. But still, Matos was facing a veteran righty, and he was not phased. He worked the count, and, some of these guys, they just need to have better plate appearances. But the Giants finding ways to win. I just got to say this about Yaz. I just think the guy's a Gold Glove right fielder. I mean, he plays. I have not seen. I mean, you got Mookie Betts out there, so he's going to win it, right? I mean, but Yaz is a Gold Glove caliber outfielder. I don't know if they just pick the best 3 outfielders or they do them by position, but Yaz, I feel really good about him when any balls hit triples alley or down the line in the corner, him to get it. And he may not have the strongest arm like a Betts, but his arm is accurate and he throws strikes when he throws them in. And that ball he held, whoever it was, got the single into the corner tonight. I mean, who was that? And Yaz gets it off the carom and gets his body twisted just as he's grabbing the ball. He's already in position to throw,
Machado.
Strike the second. Machado, yeah. It was just like, man, that's great defense. And those are the kind of things that can get you victories because that held him. Can't remember what happened afterwards, but he basically held him to a single, and it changed the inning. So I'm impressed with Yaz this year. I was on him earlier in the year, like you, because I thought, the last 2 years he's hit in the low 200s.
I mean, at 214 after a year that he hit 227 or something like that.
Like that,
Something like that. And it's like, and you're looking at the age going, okay, wait a second. Is this guy getting better? Is he getting worse? That he didn't have a particularly good spring. I mean, we were both in Arizona. I don't know what he hit down there, but it wasn't much. I mean, he really didn't look good. And it wasn't like he went to spring training and earned a job. He went to spring training and they gave him a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's played well. I mean, 257 is in today's baseball. That's like 275, 15, 20 years ago. He's got 10 home runs. And as you said, playing the hell out of the field. So, I mean, it's the Giants are, it's so weird watching this. It's like at the beginning of the year, they were lifeless. There was nobody in the ballpark. They didn't look like a contending team at all. First week in May, they call up Casey Schmidt. 10 days later, they call up Bailey. Then they bring up Matos a couple weeks ago, and suddenly they've got juice. And I'll tell you tonight, even though it wasn't an awesome performance by the Giants, it was a come from behind performance again. Just going through the scoring, Soto got the RBI double in the third to make it 1-0. And then Machado grounded into the fielder's choice that scored Tatis later that inning to make it 2-0. Giants got one back in the bottom of the fourth on the Conforto double play that scored Estrada to make it 2-1. But Tatis goes deep to dead center, hit it 408 to make it 3-1 in the fifth. Crawford came through with an RBI single that scored Matos in the seventh to make it 3-2. And then Jock Peterson homered into the drink in the eighth inning to tie the ball game. And at that point, did you have any doubt that the Giants were going to win? I mean, I didn't. It just seems like right now in the late innings, you feel like they're coming from behind. You feel like they're gonna win these games. Their bullpen's been really good. The timely hitting's been great. But I'll tell you what I really loved about tonight's game, Danny, is Giants got 8 hits, but 8 different players got 1 hit each. So it's one of those clubhouses tonight of the guys who played. Only Conforto and Schmidt did not get a hit, and Schmidt got a key walk in the ninth, so he's feeling good. Slater got a walk, so he reached base. Every guy in the Giants lineup except for Conforto reached base tonight. How about that?
Yeah, unreal.
I mean, that's a good team effort right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great team win tonight. Absolutely.
What do you make of the Padres? Because it's weird. It's like the Padres have sold out to power. They brought in Gary Sanchez. What is he? He's low average, but he's power. They got Rougned Odor. What's he? He's low average, but he's power. He represents power. They got a lot of power up and down their lineup. There's no doubt. I mean, Tatis, Soto, Machado, Bogarts, Cronenworth, Odor, Grisham, Gary Sanchez. I mean, they got guys who can hit it out of the ballpark at any point. So they got a lot of power, but man, they've got some real low averages, and they don't move runners along tonight. They struggled with runners in scoring position. San Diego went 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They left 10 on base.
Yeah, I mean, Giants were able to, do what they had to do. I mean, when they had the bases loaded, nobody out, and they got that double play, that grounder to third, Machado stepped on third through the home for the tag. I thought, oh my goodness. And Crawford comes up with a big hit. Crawford's hitting like 4-something with runners in scoring position.
Oh, he's been awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's coming through off of I think that was off of a tough lefty, wasn't it?
What was Kapler complaining about? I walked out of the room in the ninth inning. What was he complaining about?
Soto wasn't out there ready to go, and Soto must have been
in the bathroom or something.
They were waiting on him to come out. So I think he was like, hey, delay a game or something, So,
football delay a game. What do you? I don't know. I mean, personally, I don't love that. That's so junky, and I understand why they've done it. It's actually had a pretty good impact on the game. But it's interesting too. If you had said to me in spring training, "Hey, who do you have hope will have a big year this year?" I would have said VR. You know, he had 36 home runs in the minor leagues last year, and it looked like third base was his. And isn't that's the kind of the beauty of baseball. It's like you can have whatever script you want to have. You can have whatever game plan or plan of attack you want to have. But you know what? Guys have variable performances year to year. Sometimes you guys step up, sometimes they regress, and you just never know. I thought Wade was going to be terrible. Why? Because he was horrible last year. He had 207. He's 29. But no, he's a near all-star this year. I thought Yaz was going to be bad. You just said it. We both kind of thought Yaz wasn't going to be very good. Yaz has been a huge shot in the arm. Now, anything can happen. I mean, both these guys can fall through the floorboards and fall apart in the second half and be worse statistically than they were a year ago. But, if they can keep it rolling, these are unforeseen turnarounds, and you need multiple years like this from guys if you're going to have success. You gotta have some guys who come out of nowhere and do it, and these guys have done it. It's really amazing, actually.
yeah, it really is. It really is how they're all just playing together, coming together. I mean, 9 straight. Cincinnati's won 10 straight. It's like, man, what's going on in the National League between the two teams that were kind of I mean, nobody expected the Reds to be there, and the Giants were kind of an outside shot at one of the wild cards. I would say the Giants have possibly the inside track of the division because of the pitching of the bullpen. And if
Do you
they
think
can
the Giants
shore-
bullpen success continues?
I think I think they need to.
Who's going to struggle in that pen? Who's doing well now?
You know, I think Taylor Rogers kind of already struggled. I mean, Tyler, he might have a little hiccup here and there, but I think this bullpen is pretty strong as long as they don't wear it out. This is why I would say they really need to get some reinforcements, whether that's from Mania or Stripling or Junis or Harrison coming up. But I do think, as I watched this game tonight and thinking about DeSclafani, I thought
he didn't have great stuff tonight.
Yeah, they really, really need another ace, in my opinion, if they want to go far. Webb's your ace. Cobb's he's
very good.
He's been good and he's dependable, but you need a proven number 1 or 2, whether that's a Corbin Burns type.
Ooh, I mean, that would be ideal.
I would love to go after a guy like Corbin Burns.
What would it take to get him? Would you have to move Harrison or Wisenhunt to get it done?
I think you might be able to do it with Luciano and maybe someone like a Will Bednar or something like that.
Would you make that trade? Would you trade Luciano for Corbin Burns? Is he a free agent?
I don't think so. Let me look at Cobb's.
Yeah, look at his contract.
I think
Peter Zimmer says Giants haven't sat below 500 since June the 2nd. They're 9 games over 500 now. And Peter jumps in with this one as well. This team is jiving. Love it. Oh, there's no doubt. There's absolutely no doubt. I mean, it's incredible to watch. Joshua Shaw says VR is awful. Yeah, I mean, right now he's just in a funk. That's the thing. I mean, can they get can they get VR back on the beam at some point? John R says DFA VR. I don't know if I would DFA him, but you know what? When you look at Casey Schmidt and you look at the way Lamont Wade's playing, you look at JD Davis, you probably could trade VR. You know what I mean? I mean, you probably, if you wanted to move him in a deal, I'm sure there'd be some team that would take him. The guy's not old. He can play multiple spots. He had 36 bombs a year ago in the minor leagues. I'm not saying you'd get a lot for him straight up, but if you're talking about some kind of a Corbin Burns deal and you wanted to move, a prospect like Luciano and a VR and a young pitcher, you might be able
Yeah,
to get it done.
I think
What are you seeing on Burns' deal?
he's free agent after next year. Next year is his last arbitration year.
So he's got one. So you're getting the rest of this year and next year.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Would you move? Would you move off of Luciano for a year plus? You're not even getting 2 full years. That's a tough call.
Depending where they're at in July, if they're still steamrolling like they are right now, you get a guy like that who's from Northern California. Maybe you can get him to sign and become part of a five-headed monster, of Webb and Burns and Harrison and Wisenhunt and maybe a Reggie Crawford in a couple years. Wow, all of a sudden you got an unbelievable rotation to build around. He's coming home. I think it could get done.
I mean, how awesome would that be? I mean, he in a lot of ways, Burns is exactly what they need, right? They love that homegrown player. Maybe you could sign him long term to a big money deal. His stuff is dirty. We're talking about 98 with killer breaking stuff. He's really nice. I mean, went to St. Mary's, right?
Yeah.
Grew up in Moraga. As he grew up in Moraga, I'm sure he's, I mean, what a great story that would be.
I mean, I think if you had that kind of a pitching staff with some of your younger guys that are on the rise, then maybe you spend that money and you don't have to get an Ohtani because you've got 4 solid guys in your rotation, and throwing the 5th in. I'm thinking, a guy like Reggie Crawford or something that
that'll be tough. Now Reggie Crawford's not a two-way player anymore, right?
He is, but Kyle Haynes mentioned he doesn't think if he had to bet on it, he wouldn't be, a hitter. He'd just be exclusively a pitcher.
But he raved about his makeup. I mean, they love Reggie Crawford. I mean, that was the thing that jumped out when I did the interview with Kyle Haynes on 95.7 The Game with Mark Willard on Friday. We went through kind of the top 10 prospects or so, and when he got to Reggie Crawford, he just kept talking about the makeup of Crawford and that he's just, and it sounds like he's almost like a future dominant lefty starter in the big leagues.
Yeah. I mean, they love his stuff. I mean, he was the few innings he pitched at UConn, he was pretty dominant, but then he had Tommy John. So, I mean, I'm all for having 5 guys that can go out there and deal, because that, shortens the game. If you can get 5 guys that can give you 6 solid innings, and you got 6, 7 guys in the bullpen and you can rotate those guys around, man, you could. I mean, we saw how the Giants won 3 world championships. They didn't have, mega position player stars. They had Posey and, Hunter Pence was an all-star, but he wasn't Pablo, but they weren't like, Trout and Ohtani and
no, but they were homegrown guys.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can win championships with unbelievable pitching. Boy, Boch got thrown out tonight in the game. Unbelievable play.
Did he? I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was 6-6. It was the bottom of the 8th. They're playing the White Sox in Chicago. There's a play at the plate, and he's tagged out, and they ruled that the catcher, Himes, didn't give the runner clear path to home plate, but he did. It was a terrible call. Even the Chicago announcer, Steve Stone, and I don't know who the other guy was saying, is like, what's a catcher supposed to do? I mean, he's got to go up and get the ball because the throw's coming in. It bounced to him. He kind of just went up the line just a little, and then he came back, but he was standing. His feet were straddling the line, but there was an open path for the plate, and I don't know. Boch comes out, and he must have said something because the umpire literally threw him out in less than 2 seconds. I don't know what he said.
He probably didn't say, get a beer. Hey, why don't you stop by after? We'll hit the Traeger. We'll barbecue some steaks. We'll have a couple beers.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see this one? The Angels are highly unlikely to trade Shohei Ohtani if they remain in playoff contention this summer, according to their GM, Perry Manasian, who's related to the Giants executive, right? Don't the Giants have an executive named Managian as well? Zach Managian? Or has he moved on? He might have moved on, actually.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. Mark Lopez says, Larry, this summer for a whole lot more interesting. I think he's probably saying this summer is a whole lot more interesting. Pick up a starting pitcher, maybe another bat, question mark. Postseason may be in reach. What do you think of this trade, Danny? I don't love trading Luciano unless I'm getting something. I'd trade Luciano, but it has to be a big deal where I'm getting a lot back. What do you think of a deal involving Luciano in kind of a major trade? You said Bednar, maybe a VR. What do you think of this one? The Giants like their homegrown players. They need another arm. What about Luciano, Bednar, VR, and something to the Chi Sox for Lucas Giolito and Andrew Vaughn?
Well,
what do you think?
Giolito is
Andrew Vaughn is the right-handed bat. He went to Cal. He's relatively young. How great would Andrew Vaughn be as the right-handed DH?
Yeah,
I mean,
you could go with yeah.
Could you imagine that? Or you could play him at first and DH late night Lamont.
Yeah, you could platoon those guys, move guys around.
I love Andrew Vaughn. I think he's he's a tremendous young hitter. Yeah. And how cool would it be to have a Cal guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be very, very
cool. Who's our last Cal guy? Jeff Kent or Darren Lewis? Who was it?
Well, those guys were both Cal guys. I mean, you want to go further back, Bo Mel, right? Bob Melvin was a Giant. He was a Cal guy. Well, there's got to be somebody else since. Who else? Darren Baker didn't play for the Giants. He went to Cal.
That's right.
Brian Iglesias says 95.7. Brian, can we talk about how Casey Schmidt and he says Ramos? He's talking about
He's talking about Matos.
He's not talking about Ramos. He's talking about Luis Matos. Are growing up as hitters right before our eyes. The biggest plays of the game tonight were those 2 walks in the 9th. Impressed with the poise of the kids. Yeah, that's a great call. And the Schmidt one, he fouled off 2 or 3 along the way. Both those guys are foundation pieces.
Oh yeah, they definitely. You see these guys and they're. You got speed, Matos and Schmidt. Schmidt's got above average speed. Matos probably not elite speed, but a little bit better than Schmidt. I mean, it's exciting to see the young guys and knowing that you're going to have them for years. I mean, I was thinking about this tonight. I mean, I would. You got Bailey number 14, Schmidt 6, and Matos number 29. I mean, they ought to do a promo around these guys, like, jerseys, like buy 3.
Go buy a jersey.
Yeah, buy 3 rookie jerseys for the price of 2 or something.
By the way, what's the Giants' record in these pajama jerseys they're wearing?
I think I don't know what it is.
It's fat. It's unbelievable.
It's pretty good. It's like, I can't even remember.
22-6 or something. I mean, they've got a huge advantage in these games. I think they're the worst looking jerseys there are. I like the hats though. What do you think of the creamsicle hats?
Yeah, I like the hats. In fact, I think.
Do you have one?
Right, yeah, hold on.
MF says, "What does the Giants' rotation look like in a playoff series?" Well, I mean, right now, it's Alex Cobb, right? And obviously it's Webb and Cobb and Wood. You think Webb, Cobb, and Wood in the 3-game playoff series right now? Who would you go in the playoffs behind Webb and Cobb?
Right now? Me?
Yeah, I mean, if they couldn't add a pitcher, obviously Webb's your game 1 starter, but who's your game 2, game 3?
Cobb would be game 2 right now. And I got a feeling it's going to be Harrison game 3. I just feel that way. I just feel like that he's going to pitch down the stretch for them and be an important piece. I'm not sure if I want to go DeSclafani, or you might have to go Wood at that point. I think you're going to need a lefty at some point. I don't know if you go all righties, in a series.
Right.
So Wood's the only other left besides Manaea. So I just think Harrison's part of that 3-4 plan. If you're looking at 4 starters, I'm not sure if he's number 3 or 4, but I feel like that's part of the plan with why they're kind of slow phasing him in, not pushing him too much with the pitch count. They're basically limiting him to about 80 pitches a game because, they don't want to wear him out. And if they're thinking October, they're going to need those innings. And so, yeah, we'll see.
AMD 127 says Kyle Harrison scratched from his scheduled start in AAA. Could be on the way to the majors. Danny, you were talking about this. Was it last night or did you tweet this today?
I tweeted it out that he might make an appearance. I think it's what I think it is, though. They started what is it? How do you say his name? Kaiwei Tang, I think it is.
Who they just recalled from AA. And, it's funny. They got him in a trade from Minnesota. And somebody told me that he was really kind of overweight, out of shape. But his stuff is premier from what I've heard.
Yeah, he got hit pretty hard tonight. Looks
he
like
did?
They got beat 15-6 down in Round Rock. But they here's what I think really was happening. Kaiwei Tang pitched on Wednesday. Harrison pitched on Thursday. I think they just decided, why are we pitching Tang tomorrow night and Harrison tonight when Tang had an extra day already? So I think they just switched them. Harrison will probably go tomorrow.
Now this is Tang Teng, not Tang Tang. The drink. Remember the?
Right.
Do you remember the drink?
Yeah, the orange stuff. Yeah, I used to drink that stuff. Like
Tang.
This color. It was just ugly. Yeah, Tang.
Tang. Does it exist anymore?
I don't know. What was it? Basically orange Kool-Aid, right?
It was kind of like orange juice.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a Sunny Delight, maybe kind of a Sunny Delight version of orange juice.
Yeah.
Says absolutely would not move Luciano. Yeah, I don't want to move Luciano either. But the deal that I'm talking about for Giolito and Andrew Vaughn, hell yes, I'm moving. I'll drive him to the airport myself. I mean, that's the thing. Hey, if right now, based on what you've all seen, and I'll throw it to the chat and see with you as well, Danny, who of the 3 primary rookies that have been recalled would you say, if you had to rank them 1, 2, 3, who's your number 1, who's your number 2, who's your number 3 rookie?
Wow. That's really tough. Are you talking about like projecting careers or just right? I mean,
if Farhan said, "Hey, we're getting lots of calls on our young players," and you said, "Oh my God, don't ever move those guys," and he's like, "Okay, Danny, I'm not going to move them, but I need to know what your rankings are. Who's the first guy you wouldn't move? Who's the second guy you wouldn't move? Who's the third guy?" So in other words, who's the last of those 3, Matos, Bailey, and Schmidt, that you would trade?
Great question. Because
I mean, none of them are going anywhere. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
I'm going to turn on the fan for a second while it's hot in here.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't want to get rid of any of them. Larry's making me think I got to turn my air conditioning down too.
What's it like in Arizona tonight? 120?
Not bad. Next week is when it gets really smoking hot. It's going to be starting Sunday about 108. Then the rest of the week's going to be like 112 to 114.
And the AC just runs all night, all day.
Night. Yeah.
What do you pay on that? Is it cheaper because it's Arizona? No,
a little bit cheaper than PG&E for sure as far as kilowatt hours. But
and how many AC units do you have? Do you have like more than one condenser because you're in the middle of the desert?
I got one. Some houses have 2, depending on your square footage and if you have 2-story or not. Usually 2 stories will have 2 units. But
if you call for the AC guy there, he probably is there within like 15 minutes or something. It's like a national emergency.
Yeah, there's so many of them out there. They get really busy this time of year. Oh gosh, yeah. I think
you got to tip that guy fat.
They make their living in these next 3-4 months. But answer to your question, I would say, and I'm going to do it because of the importance of the positions. So I would say I'm going to say Matos because I think he's a 300 hitter and he
Number
plays center
one,
field.
the number one guy you would not move out of the three is Matos.
Yeah, 2 I would be Bailey and 3 Schmidt. Only because Casey does.
I think I might make Bailey at the top of that list.
I almost did, but I think Matos is going to be a 2020 guy, and I think he's going to be a 300 hitter, and I think he's going to be a Gold Glove caliber center fielder.
And he's so
21.
young. Yeah,
he's 21.
so young.
I think you can get 12 years out of Matos here in San Francisco of high production, So
yeah.
that's why I'm going Matos. And the only reason I put Casey third is because Bailey's so important as a catcher and hard to find great young Gold Glove type catchers. I don't care if the catcher hits 225 for you. If he's being like Buster and Molina behind the plate, he's going to win you a lot of games.
Oh, Bailey to me is super special. I mean, and I've only seen him for a short amount of time. I had no idea he was this good of a player. Did you? I mean, I don't know if you were down in spring training for the entire time. Did you ever get any inclination or indication from anybody with the Giants that Bailey was a kind of, I don't want to say Buster-esque, but I mean, if you said to me, Patrick Bailey, is he more of a hitter or a defensive player? It's hard to say. I mean, to me, he's a stellar catch and throw guy. He's a great game caller, and he's a damn good hitter. I mean, what's not to like? I mean, he's the total package, man. He's really fun to watch.
Yeah, he is fun to watch, and I think as far as him in spring training, we didn't hear too much about it. In fact, I talked to him down in the lower level of the Giants. They have a locker room or clubhouse upstairs for all the guys that are part of the 40-man roster, and then the guys that are non-rostered are all downstairs in their original locker room. And it's like you walk down there. So I'm talking to Bailey, and he's telling me about Keaton Wynn, and I said, tell me about his splitter, because I've heard his splitter's really hectic, like wild, and he's just unbelievable splitter. I go, how's it compared to Gosman's? He goes, oh man, it's sick. He goes, it's as good as God. He goes, no, it's better. He goes,
wow.
And I'm like, oh gee, this is gonna be exciting when this guy starts pitching, and we're starting to see it. So yeah, I didn't, but there was no discussion of him even remotely having a chance to make the team out of spring. I mean, it was a discussion of, Bart and Perez and Sable and Austin Wins. And it was like, and it was like the only indication I got out of spring training was that they really weren't super high on Bart at the plate.
Right. I remember you called me in like the first week of the Cactus, and you're like, Kapler just held court in the dugout, and he doesn't seem enamored with Joey Bart. I'm like, really? The one guy? Because in my mind, he was like the one guy that I was really hoping would go north with the team, and he's the one prospect that I kind of had some belief in. When you told me that, I was like, are you kidding me? The one guy with bat speed and power and upside potential he doesn't like? Really? But
I don't think they like the way his, if you looked at his swing, I mean, he struck out a ton last year. And then this year there was like, okay, you got to make contact. So he starts making contact, but to make contact, he gave up. He didn't hit any home runs. His power was completely gone. And so he wasn't making loud contact. He was just like, almost like, okay, I'm not going to strike out, but I'm just going to swing a little less and make, contact. So they, this way I maybe he's thinking, well, if I make contact, I'll have a job. So I think the emergence of, Sable obviously hitting and being able to do so much more with his speed, being able to bunt, being able to play left field, And then Bailey coming up and just basically like going, he's our catcher. He's the guy that, you know, you could see that the team is definitely going in the direction that Bailey is their signal caller for the next 10 years plus.
It's so funny when you go through Giants prospects. Will Martinez says Gary Brown, Kyle Crick, Christian Arroyo, all were can't miss prospects. You know, it's true. Giants have had many, 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 many can't miss prospects that found a way to miss. Yeah. Jesse Fopper took your breath away, and then literally, you know, really was kind of a pretty underwhelming player. Glass half full guy makes a donation. He says, "I'm all for trading for Corbin Burns just so the Dodgers don't get him or another team that's in the hunt." Yeah. I mean, that's a good call right there. Anything to keep him away from the Dodgers would be nice. You know, a couple on the starred chats that I think are kind of interesting. What do you think of this one, Danny? 49er says Mets are going to be sellers. Verlander would look great in orange and black. You think the Mets, I mean, Verlander, I mean, that's a big name guy for sure. G. Martinez says good chemistry on this club. Young guys brought the atmosphere. It's really amazing when you think about it. I mean, they had, you know, they looked dead, kind of flat, and then all of a sudden they started calling up the young guys, and it just the vibe changed. And I don't know why it changed, but it did.
Yeah, it did.
Mitchell and Ness.
Hey, I'll be right back, Larry.
Okay. Mitchell and Ness says, I can't stand the way Jock Peterson wears his pants. How's that, Mitchell and Ness? You can't stand the way he wears his pants, or the two. He kind of goes high sock, right? He shows sock. I'll tell you this: Jock's packing on a few extra pounds for sure. MF said would have loved to have seen AJ Preller's face after Hader walked in a run. Yeah, I mean, you know, what can you say? I mean, Hader's got big time stuff, but he definitely doesn't have great elite command. He just doesn't. So, you know, I was watching that in the ninth and I'm thinking, you know what? The guy's a 2-pitch pitcher, but if the bags are loaded and he's in a pinch, he becomes a 1-pitch pitcher. Why? Because he can't really throw that slider for strikes. He can get you to chase out of the zone, but he can't put it in the zone when he needs to. So you show me a 1-pitch reliever in the big leagues, it's hard to win that way. So I mean, Hader's got a lot of talent. And when the Padres got him, I was like, oh my goodness, Padres get another big time guy. But in a lot of ways, he's not very dependable because if he puts on a couple guys and all of a sudden it's time for him to throw strikes, it's 1 pitch. It's a fastball. Lou Marston says, just got home from the game. Amazing win. The best part of the game was Hum Baby on the right center field wall, but only for the year. Strange. About time. Well, I was hoping that they would honor Hum Baby on the jersey. They're out honoring Vita on the jersey. Can't they honor Roger Craig? He's one of the great managers in Giants history. MF says Keaton Wynn and Tristan Beck are sleepers. It's nice to see the Giants have some more depth of arms. Keaton Wynn, as Danny already said, nasty stuff. Tristan Beck, you know, Tristan Beck was another guy. I think he came from Atlanta, right? Tristan Beck.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they traded to Atlanta to get him?
Was that Melanson, I think?
Was that Melanson?
I believe
Tristan Beck's a nice, I mean, to me, he was the key guy tonight for sure. He looked great.
Stanford guy.
Terradome's in the house. Says, Krug! What's up, Terradome? Thunderbird says, Robert Rothberg deserves an apology? For what?
He was wrong last year.
What's that?
He was wrong last year.
So what? We got to apologize to Rothberg because we were negative and he was positive?
Right.
I can't apologize.
So if we were right last year and he's right this year, we're both batting 500.
Yeah. We'll meet in the hallway and we can apologize to each other. Spencer, how about this, Danny? This is a good name to remember here. Spencer Alsey. If I was out in Arizona, Dan, I'd fix your AC. That is what I work on.
Oh, cool. Cool. No, my AC is good. Fortunately, it's brand new, so it better be good.
Is it? Do you now? Let me ask you this: we just got a brand new AC a couple years ago, and it was probably, I don't know, it was like either $9,000 or $12,000, something like that, for a brand new AC unit. Now I don't have a huge place. I think my place is like maybe 2,600 square feet.
You
But
probably got a 5-ton unit, it sounds like.
yeah, it was a pretty big. You definitely want to make sure that you're getting the key with that, right? And Spencer could tell us, but I think the key is you want to make sure that you don't get too much AC for the size of your house,
Right, or
but
too
you
little.
definitely don't want too little AC.
Yeah, it's a fine line, because if you get too much, then it keeps
Wastes, right?
goes on and on, off and on, off and on, and then it's just like never gets all the hot air out, because it's just, you want it to run long enough to get the hot air out of the room. But I had one unit, a house, they had undersized it, and it was a new home.
Just working all the time,
all
overtime.
the time. And in fact, the temperature, when it was 112 outside here, it wouldn't hold it. It would go up inside. And that tells you it's not strong enough to, it's not doing its job. But somebody asked me in the chat if I sleep with the air conditioner and fan. Yes, I sleep both with the AC and my ceiling fan on. Yeah.
Ceiling fan, but not one of those blowing on your face.
No, ceiling fan. No, ceiling fan.
Have you ever fallen asleep with the fan blowing on like your leg or something? Because what happens is it dries you out, and it will actually give you like a middle of the night cramp.
Oh wow!
Like you ever gotten a middle of the night like Charlie horse?
Yeah, I hate those.
Calf pull or a foot pull, or
you got to jump up out of bed and you got to stand on it.
Oh my God!
I mean,
I seriously, my wife a couple nights has thought I'm dying. I'm literally,
it's awful,
honey, grab my foot, grab my foot. Oh, push it back.
It's horrible.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
A calf strain in the middle of the night is like,
and then you feel them for a day or two after that too.
Oh, I know. Oh, it's awful. Absolutely awful. I don't know what's worse, that or any kind of a muscle pull in your like in your rib cage or stomach. Have you ever had a stomach pull? Almost like an oblique, but maybe a little higher. Oh my God, it's so painful, so painful. And if you get it when you're sitting at a weird angle, and then all of a sudden you can't. Oh my God, it's terrible, absolutely terrible. Lou Marson says key to Giants' success and was the talk at the park: back to basics and solo shots when needed, like shots of like Jägermeister and. That's the old days of Candlestick. Remember Candlestick? Yeah, I love a good solo shot. Yeah, a shot of whiskey.
Yeah.
Aussie Rules says it's 56 degrees up here in Washington State.
Ooh, nice.
That's not summer, right? 56. Now, Danny, you've lived all over the place, right? You lived in.
I lived in Idaho. It was cold up there near Washington State. Yeah.
What about the summer though? Summer's nice in Idaho. Hot.
They could get warm where I was at. You had days in.
Where were you? Coeur d'Alene or something?
No, I was a couple hours south of Coeur d'Alene. I was
by Gonzaga.
I did visit Gonzaga. Gonzaga and Coeur d'Alene is about an hour apart, Spokane. But no, I was south. I was north central Idaho, but still not as. I mean, Coeur d'Alene's way up at the top.
So you've lived in Idaho, Arizona, the Bay Area,
Connecticut.
What part of Connecticut?
I was in the Hartford County. I was in a little town called Avon, Connecticut.
Yeah, I know exactly what that is. My sister lives in Farmington.
Oh, I worked in Farmington.
Really?
Yeah. Played my son's Pop Warner team was the Farmington, whatever they were. We played for this because Avon didn't have a team, and one of the coaches I helped coach, but the defensive coach was Mike Golick, because Mike Golick Jr.
from ESPN.
Yeah, Mike Golick Jr. Played on my son's team, and it was kind of fun but Golick would come to
Golick's
practice.
a good guy. Golick's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
I came to spring training one year, and I was doing something for the radio station, and they said, "Hey, at KMBR," they're like, "Hey, go into the radio station and you can do a show there. It's KGME, right? I think it might have been called The Game or whatever it was." And at the time, the afternoon drive show was Tim Lyotta and Mike Golick.
Oh yeah,
Tim Lyotta was in the desert.
Yeah, but Mike's a good guy, and he didn't.
That's Bob Golick's little brother who played with the Eagles.
He didn't get a chance to go to a lot of the games on Saturdays because he was doing ESPN, college football on the road somewhere. But he had the Monday through Friday gig in the mornings with Mike and Mike show. It was
Greenberg.
Mike Greenberg, the little guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. That show was one of the biggest shows in America for a while. Jeffrey G says, "You guys have completely changed your tune about the Giants."
Well, 9 in a row.
I mean,
and the young guys. It's the young guys.
To me, it's the young guys more than the 9 in a row.
Yeah, it's the young guys.
It's just about they're watchable.
Yes, exactly.
I'm sorry. To me, Vosler was not watchable.
Right.
Dixon Machado, not watchable. Papirski. I mean, I like a little Papirski, but I need some ranch with it. And what else? Who else? Ford. How many of the no names can we name of the Connor Joe, Michael Reed?
Every time I say Michael Reed, I'm thinking of the Brady Bunch.
I mean, Connor Joe. I mean, it was bad. There was just a lot of bad ball. A lot of players that were forgettable.
Stuart Fairchild. It was just
Stewie Fairchild.
The thing about it was constant. It was like
a gigantic player to be named later at all times.
Yeah, it was just like, who we got this week? It's like, I mean, I was ticked off at the Machado trade because you knew it was for 1 week only because Crawford was on the IL and he was coming back. And they were right at the All-Star, or right after the All-Star.
And you didn't like wasting Kervin Castro.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not saying Castro was maybe he's washed up. His arm was kind of had a rubber arm after the year, but he pitched for you the year before against the Dodgers in the playoffs. I mean, he was.
And he had a big overhand curveball, and he threw 95.
And he was 21. And it's like you're really just gonna give him for a week rental, 1 week?
I know that, but he hasn't been up since.
Well, he's with Chicago. I don't know what he's doing now. He might be washed up. Maybe Farhan knew it.
Maybe they knew something.
Maybe like Ned says, you kind of know certain things about certain guys, and you're willing to let them go.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, scouting your own system. Mercedes, BMW, Porsches. Larry, what do you do with Joey Bart? I'll say this. I'm not handing him over to anybody, but I would absolutely include Joey Bart in a big trade if I could make the kind of deal I want to make. If I can get Andrew Vaughn and Lucas Giolito, I'll throw any number of guys in their direction, including Joey Bart. I mean, there's not a lot of good catchers out there. Lou Marson says Bailey is no Mark Hill. Solid and switch hitter catcher. No, is he a switch hitter? No.
Bailey is a switch hitter, yeah.
I don't think I've seen him hit left in a while.
He did last night on that fly ball to left field.
You know what?
That line drive to left field.
I think the first hit I ever saw from him was lefty.
Yeah.
I think the first hit I ever saw was a shot down the right field line. Now, how's his splits, Danny? How is he lefty righty? I mean, is he basically the same guy, lefty righty, or is he way better from one side?
He's actually better from the left side, but he's naturally a right-handed hitter. He came up as a right-handed, playing balls a right-hander as a young guy, and then he started taking on switch hitting. So I don't know what his lines are. I could look it up here, but let me.
Look that up. Lou Marson says Larry Bailey, switch hitting catcher, can't remember one since Ted Simmons. Yeah, that's the rarest of rare, the switch hitting catcher. Ted Simmons, man, what a catcher he was. Cardinals. I was at do you remember Joe Strain?
Yeah, the second baseman, yeah.
So he was the second baseman that enabled the Giants to trade Madlock in the late 70s to the Pirates.
Right.
So I'm at a Giants-Cardinals game, Friday night game at Candlestick. Joe Strain's on second base. Somebody singles down the left field line. Joe Strain comes running around third. He goes head first into Ted Simmons wearing the knee guards. Broke his clavicle, separated his shoulder, was never the same after that. Never the same. And Joe Strain, I think the year or the year before, it hit 371 in the minor leagues. Wow. This guy raked in Phoenix for the Giants back then with the Phoenix Firebirds.
Wow.
And just ran into Ted Simmons, and that was it.
Yeah. Dang it. I remember that now. Yeah, here's Bailey's splits versus right-handed pitching. He's batting 281. He's 16 for 57. And versus left-handed pitching from the right side, he's hitting 360. He's 9 for 25. He's got a home run from one home run from the left side, and he's got 2 from the right side. So, in fact, I read a stat tonight in the game. He's got 20 RBIs. Fastest player in Giants history to 20 RBIs.
How many does Wade have?
Well, it took him 23 games to do it.
Doesn't Wade have like 25?
But in his first 20 games, I think.
Yeah.
Or something like
Bailey.
that.
Bailey's been incredible. I mean, that's the one thing. It's not that Bailey's good. Bailey's amazing. Brian Iglesias says 22-7 in the City Connects. It's pretty good. What do you think of this idea, Danny? MF says Pete Petulia turned this organization around. Didn't you?
I talked to him. Yeah, I talked to him. I don't know exactly what his role is. I mean, I know his role in Houston. He was known for, kind of helping develop the minor league system there. And they had a really good minor league system. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something that he's doing with Kyle Haynes, communication. Maybe he's saying being a little more aggressive, because they've been a lot more aggressive in promotions this year. I don't know if that's coincidence or if it's just players are producing better. I don't know what it's all about, but they're definitely doing something right.
Lou Marson says, congrats on the new sponsor, Larry. Marin Autoglass, way to go. That's right. If you're driving down the street, all of a sudden a pebble hits the windshield, you got a crack in the windshield, man, that thing's going to grow. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. You go to marinautoglass.com or give them a call, 415-883-3030. If you have a broken windshield, they will come right to your home or place of work and pop out the old one and pop in the new one, take away all the shards of glass, so on and so forth. Marin Autoglass, my buddy Saeed, is proud sponsor of the Krueger Show. Erwin Kwong says, drink more water, Larry. Thank you. Thank you for that. I've got my water right here. I did have a Coke earlier tonight, but I'll throw back a little water right now.
Yeah, I've been drinking water like crazy.
How many? Yeah, seriously, in the desert, you got to. Dusty Gold says Larry's got a fridge of cold beer in his bunker to keep him cool and drunk for those late nighters. Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm just sitting here just pounding beers all night. Stephen J says it easily can be 110 in Visalia. Mercedes, BMW, Porsche. Larry gets hurt while sleeping. I'm telling you, man. When you get to a certain age, you can get hurt sleeping, or you can also get hurt doing absolutely nothing. You know what I mean?
True. It's true.
You wake up the next day, your foot's swollen, you're walking around going, God dang it, what happened? It's like, did I roll it? Did I play pickup basketball in my dream? I mean, what the heck? What's going on here? But it's true. It's absolutely true. Dusty Gold. Larry's from the mean streets of San Francisco. Erwin Kwong. Larry's from the mean streets of the Sunset District. Yeah, some people are now offering random Giants here. Austin Wynn, Kevin Padlow, Donovan Walton. Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot. Daniel Shabazz, Stewie who? Stewie Fairchild. We got this one from Los D. There you go. Los is in the chat. He says,
Yeah.
I'm from the outer sunset too. What a great hood. The ocean, the Cliff House, Golden Gate Park, the polo fields, best times ever. Not only that, I don't know if you ever played the Golden Gate Park 9-hole, but we used to go out there and play the 9-hole. You don't need the driver. But here's one. MF says Gregory Santos is nasty. Santos is now a White Sox, right? Is he
Yeah.
is he mowing people?
He's doing well. Yeah. He's doing good.
MF says you should get Sabes on the Krug show. Oh, that'd be great. We will absolutely try to get Sabes. Los Bailey's better than John Tamargo.
I remember John Tamargo well. Was at a game where he hit the extra inning home run on opening day. That was wild.
John Tamargo. How about here's random Giant catcher, Johnny Rabb. Do you remember Johnny Rabb?
Oh yeah, yep.
He could not throw the ball back to the pitcher, which is a problem.
Right.
Generally, that's a problem. Will Martinez says Bailey's better than Yamid Hod. There you go.
Lou Marston at the bottom there says, Larry and Dan, 9 wins deserves a little Sunday dinner. I grew up on a Sunday dinner. Let's see.
Dusty Gold, support Larry and his kids and buy his new merch. That's right. Go to the YouTube channel.
Oh, I saw that. You got a hoodie.
You can do hoodies. You can do pocket. You can get the Krug show with it on the pocket. It all benefits the channel, and some portion of that goes to charity. I'm not sure what portion, but it goes to charity. Will Martinez says, Larry, have you watched any draft combine on the MLB network? Not yet. I am into the Major League Baseball, watching the MLB draft, but that's really deep if you're watching the draft combine. But do you know where the Giants picked this year?
16th.
Yeah, and do you know when it is?
It's in July.
It's in July. It used to be
like All-Star break.
It used to be like a week or two ago. It was like first week in June.
Yeah, they moved it closer to the All-Star game. Let me take a look and see when it is. There's a couple of players I like. There's this one kid out of Vandy.
What a program they have, huh?
Yeah, guy's a speedster. Looks like a Kenny Lofton type guy. The guy was like 47 out of 47 for stolen base attempts. Super fast, great glove, center fielder. The only issue is the concern about his game is, is he, can he hit for, enough? The other guy I like is Tommy Troy, I think his name is Stanford. He's supposed to go top 20.
What position?
Kind of an infielder, I believe.
I just watched them the other night against A&M. They lost A&M, and then that was only the first loss, and they made it all the way to Omaha. G. Martinez I lived on 45th and Vicente in the Sunset.
Yeah, it's Sunday, July 9th through Tuesday, July 11th. So
is that the All-Star game? Is that during the All-Star game, or
no? The All-Star game is they're doing Interestingly enough, they're doing it 4 p.m. They started on July 9th. It must be right after the last games that end. There's probably not a Sunday night baseball game, is my guess, that night, because that's 4 o'clock, our time. So the last game should be ending for the All-Star break, and then they'll have the draft. So they're trying to maybe do something a little different, more,
they're trying to make it more like the NBA.
Yeah.
Because nobody watches it. Here's the bottom line. I always tape, I don't know about you, Danny, but I always tape the futures game in baseball because you can see all the best prospects playing in an actual game, but it's played in the All-Star ballpark on a Sunday when the home team is out of town, of course. And it's just like, it's like friends and family. There's like nobody ever there. Have you noticed that?
Right.
Do you have they announced who the Giants, guy on the futures team is going to be this year?
I haven't heard.
Because that's a great game to watch. We're about ready to move over to Danny's channel. Yep. S says, do the Warriors make a trade to improve the team on Thursday night? I'm reading a story right now online that the Indiana Pacers are really interested in Jonathan Kuminga. He's according to Raphael Barlow of NBA Big Board, and I've never heard of NBA Big Board or Rafael Barlow, but I'll still read his trade rumor here. It says the Pacers have interest in trading for Jonathan Kuminga. It says Indiana's been linked to Golden State forward Jonathan Kuminga. Could look to strike a deal for the former number 7 pick who fell out of the Warriors rotation in the postseason. He went on to discuss what the Warriors would want in return. The Pacers sending Miles Turner back would be the best fit, according to him. Yeah, but that doesn't work on the cap. It says the Warriors don't need or want another young player who needs minutes to develop. I see them moving Kuminga for a veteran that can play in the front court because there aren't many minutes 1 through 3. Miles Turner is the name that makes the most sense, but I don't know how they'd get that deal done. I will say this. Kuminga's coming off a pretty decent year. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 1.9 assists. Was a total no-show in the playoffs. I remember watching that draft when Kuminga and Moody were in it. And when the Pacers drafted Chris Duarte out of Oregon, Joe Lacob punched the table, and he was super pissed. The Warriors were going to take Chris Duarte. I don't think there's any doubt over Moses Moody. Duarte is an older guy, and he's more ready to play. Now, I wouldn't want to move Kuminga for Duarte straight up because I think Kuminga's got more upside, but I could definitely see Duarte in a pick, for Kuminga, because Duarte's ready to play. There's no doubt in my mind he's ready to play, and Kuminga most definitely is not. And G-Code Travels Vlog, will the Giants make a big trade splash to win the NL West? I would say, listening to, talking to Farhan on Friday, I got a sense, Danny, I don't know if you heard that interview, didn't you? He sounds like he's very open. I don't want to say eager to make a deal, but I expect the Giants will make a deal. Based on what he told us and how he sounded, I would say if you made me bet everything I own on they will or won't, I'm betting on they will. What do you think? You're muted.
There we go. I think they're going to make a deal. Yeah, I think they definitely want to make a deal here. They've got to do something to, if they don't, it's like Aesop's fable one too many times, we're going to be aggressive. Okay, we're in contention. We're the top. We're in first place, but we didn't make any deals. How's that going to go over?
Look at, it's great having a chat with people because you can get really good comments like MF here who says they need to. Oh, wait, no, there we go. Wait, hold on a second. I missed that. Chat's moving so fast. MF says Wade Meckler is really good in Richmond. So there you go. You get a great comment like that. And then you go further down the line. And for every MF, there's a Greg Dayton who says, why are we talking Dubs on a Giants show? Larry, you're totally an idiot.
Uh-oh.
Seems a little harsh. Maybe a tad. Maybe a tad harsh. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Just because I'm so turned off by that last person, I'm ending this show. That's it. I'm out of here. I'm not taking it from Greg Dayton, damn it. I will not take any attacks from Greg Dayton. Even one attack, and I just walk. Any negativity, and I'm out of here. No, actually, Danny and I agreed that we were going to start the show here, and we're going to finish it up on his channel. So, yep. Danny, we will talk to you. You're going to go over to your channel and get it all ready.
Yeah,
and send me the.
I sent it to you. In fact, I'm going to change.
Eric says, "Kick him out, Larry. Kick him out."
I'm going to go ahead and change it to 10:40, 10:45.
All right.
So
we'll see you over there.
We'll be over at NorCal Sports Network.
NorCal Sports Network. We're all going to go there right now. I'm going to play a couple commercials, and then I'm going to join Danny over there. Danny, we'll see you over there.
All right. Thanks, Larry.
There you go. NorCal Sports Network. Everybody go to NorCal Sports Network. Okay, you're sitting there going, well, wait a second, Krug, what are you doing? What are you doing? You've got, wait a second, I love this one. Greg Dayton, eat poop. There you go. I like that. 49er says, I like Larry's chances versus Dayton. If you're sitting here going, Krug, you got 300 people hanging in the room. You got the show rolling. It's 10:42. Why are we jumping over to Danny's channel? Let me just say this. Danny's a good friend of mine. I've got almost 20,000 subs on this channel. Danny has really done an incredible job helping me grow my channel over the last couple of years. And he's a friend. And he said, hey, man, I want to start my own channel. And I said, no question. Let's do it. Start your own channel and I'll help you grow your channel. And so I would really appreciate it if I realize not everybody's going to do this because you guys are busy and this and that. But Danny does a great job in his channel. It's NorCal Sports Network. And Danny does, as I said, he does a great job. We've had a lot of fun there. We're talking ball. Los was there the other night. Eric was there the other night. We were having a good time and we had a bunch of people. So this is what we're going to do. MF says this is better than the FB post game. Thank you. Well, let's not rip FP, but I hear what you're saying. Let's move over to NorCal Sports Network right now. I'm going to play a couple commercials here from my sponsors. We're brought to you by, of course, Marin Auto Glass, marinautoglass.com, 415-883-3030. We play a couple spots for our other sponsors, most notably Pig and a Pickle and New York style Italian sausage. But I'm really trying to help Danny grow his channel as fast as possible. So we got 250, almost 300 people in the room. If you can join us over there, please do. We're just going to continue for another half hour, a little bit more discussion on the Giants, a little bit more chat. He'll be running the show the rest of the night. But I'm going to go over there right now and join him. And I would encourage all of you to do the same. And if you could throw a like and a subscribe here, that would be awesome. If you haven't done that already, that would be awesome. If you hit it like, that just helps the algorithm. More people find the show. If you hit subscribe, you'll just get an alert every time we go live. And then if you could go over to Danny's channel, NorCal Sports Network, and throw him a like and throw him a subscribe, that would be awesome. Danny's just growing the thing. It's just starting. He doesn't have anything close to 19,000 subs, but we'd love to help him out and get him a few extra subs. So if you would be so kind as to join me over at Danny's Sports or NorCal Sports Network. NorCal Sports Network is the name of his channel. I'd really appreciate it. But first, a word from Pig and a Pickle.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. How can you go to church if you don't believe in God? And along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. It wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, that life is good.
All right, coming down the home stretch on the Krug Show, we're about ready to join Danny over on his channel. I did a live stream earlier tonight with the great Vish Kumaran. We talked a little 49ers, and it was a dual show. It was on his channel and my channel, and there were 2 super chats that were sent in that I never had a chance to read on the air. One was Glass Half Full Guy, who donated $4.99. He says, if the 49ers don't run Christian McCaffrey into the ground and rotate running backs, they'll start faster this season, in my humble opinion. Good one there. And we have this one as well. And this is from somebody who's never done a super chat before. Actually, that was the same one. Let me just go back. We've got one more here that I want to read before we jump over to Danny. Chavi Olia donated $5. She says, or he says, or she says, I'm not sure. Larry, can you please pray the Giants land Shohei Ohtani? Casey Schmidt and Shohei Ohtani would relieve my Niners stress with the 49ers quarterback position. So there you go. Thank you very much for that super chat. And let's put the person who's typing in AIDS 17,000 times in the chat. We'll put them into a blocked mode. Who does that? Who has time? As Gary used to say. All right. Good live stream. Thanks to Danny. Thanks to all of you. Join us on the NorCal Sports Network right now. We'll see you there. Peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one. I don't need